Welcome to the Classic Soap Operas podcast. All right, today we are diving into one of the most resilient, chaotic, and just absolutely unforgettable characters in all of daytime history. I'm talking, of course, about Barbara Ryan from As the World Turns. For more than 30 years, she was the absolute epicenter of drama in Oakdale. Her story, it's pretty much a masterclass in soap opera mayhem.
So, just to give you a sense of the sheer scale we're dealing with here, let's just start with a few numbers. Okay, first up, 9 marriages. 9. I mean, from dashing aristocrats to determined detectives, Barbara's love life wasn't just a roller coaster, it was a non-stop, off-the-rails thrill ride of passion and, let's be honest, total disaster.
And hey, if you thought 9 marriages was dramatic enough, how about this one? She was kidnapped a staggering 15 times. No, that is not a typo. 15. It's like every single villain who ever passed through Oakdale had a checklist, and right at the top was kidnap Barbara Ryan.
So you gotta ask, right? How does one character go through all of that and still keep an audience hooked for decades? Well, this quote from entertainment reporter Lisa Joyner, I think it just nails it. It says she was a sultry vixen who'd made the transition from helpless victim to scheming villain. See, she wasn't just one thing. She evolved from this tragic heroine to a calculating villain and then into something else entirely. So the big question is, how did that all happen? Let's dig in.
So, Barbara Ryan actually first showed up in the early 70s, but the character really truly became an icon when the amazing Colleen Zink took over the role in 1978. And for the next 32 years, wow, Zink was Barbara. She played a woman who could be shot through the heart, burned in a chemical explosion, and still come back stronger. And yeah, a lot of the time, she came back meaner than ever. It was that sheer, unbelievable resilience that made it impossible for us to look away.
Okay, so in her early years, Barbara was your classic tragic heroine. Her entire story was basically defined by this epic, and I mean epically toxic romance with the villainous James Stenbeck. This guy, he would haunt her for her entire life. Seriously, their relationship was the spark that lit the fuse for decades of drama to come.
Just look at this timeline. It really gives you a sense of how fast things just went completely off the rails for her. She gets back to town in 78. And by 1980, boom, she's married to this super controlling James Stenbeck. But then in 1982, things get soap opera weird, with visions of a past life. And by 83, she's already escaping kidnappers and falling for a new guy. It was just this relentless, crazy cycle of danger and romance over and over. Okay, you have got to love this. This slide breaks down one of the most gloriously, wonderfully weird soap plots of all time. So while she's living her life in Oakdale, Barbara starts having these intense visions of a past life as a woman named Bianca in Paris. And just get a load of these parallels. Her husband, James, he had a look-alike. His mistress, she had a look-alike. And her new love interest, Gunnar, yep, you guessed it, he had a look-alike too. The show was literally mirroring her real-world drama in these historical flashbacks. It was blurring the lines of reality in a way that, let's face it, only a soap opera could ever pull off. So after years and years of just being James Stenbeck's victim, the writers on the show decided, you know what? We're taking Barbara in a totally radical new direction. The perpetual heroine was about to become Oakdale's newest villain. And this was a huge, shocking move at the time. But it really tapped into something audiences were craving. They wanted to see female characters who weren't just victims of fate, but who were actively taking charge of their own lives, for better or for worse. And this quote from Colleen Zink herself really explains why this change was so necessary. See, before she went full villain, the character was just kind of there. She was being underused, fading into the background. As Colleen put it herself, Barbara went so far off the back burner that she went off the stove. You can't get much clearer than that. A huge shakeup was needed to get her back into the action. And this slide really shows you how they did it, step by step. It all kicked off in 1985 when the head writer Douglas Marland famously just decided, let's make Barbara a bitch. And her first big move? Trying to break up the fan-favorite super couple Tom and Margot. Then, fast forward to the 2000s, another writer, Hogan Sheffer, doubles down and revives her villainy, which all leads to this insane chemical explosion that leaves her scarred. It was like a physical symbol of her turn to the dark side. And get this, Colleen Zink had to wear that intense special effects makeup for a full year.
Oh, and believe me, once she turned bad, she went all in. This is just a little taste of her villainous resume, okay? We're talking drugging a police officer, hiring a hitman to murder someone, and in a truly iconic soap opera move, kidnapping 3 of her biggest rivals all at the same time. Yeah, the tragic heroine was long gone. She was replaced by a totally ruthless schemer.
But just when you thought Barbara's character had been pushed to every single possible extreme, her story took another completely unexpected turn. And this next chapter, it became one of the most powerful and honestly moving in the show's entire history. This is where the drama on screen began to mirror a very, very real battle that was happening off screen. So in 2008, the writers made an incredibly bold choice. They decided that the character Barbara Ryan would be diagnosed with oral cancer. Now, this wasn't just some random dramatic plot point they pulled out of thin air. It directly mirrored the real-life fight of the actress who played her, Colleen Zink. She herself had been diagnosed with the very same disease. And because of that, this storyline became so much more than just television drama. As Colleen Zink said, she felt it was her duty to use this huge platform to raise awareness about a disease that, frankly, doesn't get a lot of public attention. She so bravely brought her own personal struggle to the screen, and it gave Barbara's journey this incredible authenticity and weight that you just don't see very often. So, as the World Turns started heading into its final years, Barbara's story really began to come full circle. It was time to solidify her legacies as one of the most complex and definitely one of the most enduring survivors in the entire genre. And of course, we have to talk about the men in her life. I mean, this table is just the perfect, chaotic summary of her love life. You had James Stenbeck, the ultimate villain who just kept coming back from the dead. You had Hal Munson, the poor cop she lied to about his own son's paternity. And then, and you can't make this stuff up, in a wonderfully bizarre twist, she ends the whole series married to Henry Coleman, who just happens to be the illegitimate son of her greatest enemy, James. It's perfect.
So yeah, after 3 decades of marriages, kidnappings, transformations, you name it, Barbara's incredible journey finally came to an end when the show itself went off the air in 2010. And boy, did she leave behind a legacy of unforgettable drama.
Which, of course, leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? After everything she did and everything she went through, who is Barbara Ryan? Is she a tragic heroine defined by all her suffering? Is she a scheming villain who finally took control of her own story? Or maybe, above all else, was she simply a survivor? And is that endless evolution the real reason she's still such an icon? Hey, thank you so much for joining us for this look back at the truly unbelievable story of Barbara Ryan. If you enjoyed this deep dive as much as I did, do me a favor and make sure to like, subscribe, and hey, drop a comment below. We'd love to see it. And we really do want to hear from you. What iconic character or totally unbelievable storyline should we tackle in our next explainer? Let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching.